Heaven is real. I know it because I have been there and back. As strange as that may sound, it's true. As much as I can communicate with words, I want to share that experience and the aftermath, especially to write about the things I learned. The problem is that no one can explain an experience so perfectly that everyone can feel it exactly as it happened. I can only try. My story began January 18th, 1989. Crossing the bridge over Lake Livingston in Texas changed my life forever. That was the day I died and went to heaven. It was not a near-death experience. I literally died. 2 EMTs, and possibly as many as 8, examined my lifeless body and pronounced me dead after an 18-wheeler mangled my Ford Escort with me inside. Unable to get out of the vehicle, they covered my car with a tarp. After the impact, I didn't see light or float through a tunnel. I didn't undergo anything like what is described by those who have had a near-death experience, NDE. 1 second I was alive, and the next instant I stood at the gates of heaven. I make a point of this because some people can't believe that any person could go to heaven and return, except Jesus. They insist I only had a near-death experience. I don't argue with them, but I know I died. I went to heaven, and I experienced the awe, the joy, and the utter perfection of the life that awaits all of God's people. I do want to make a brief explanation about my death. First, one fact is irrefutable. I showed no signs of life for at least 90 minutes. Those with NDEs are out of their bodies for a few minutes at most. I was out for at least an hour and a half. Human bodies contain about 6 quarts, 5.6 liters, of blood. I had wounds all over my body. If it had been an NDE, my heart would have continued to pump blood. If I had not died, my heart would have continued to beat. In that case, I would have bled out. My heart would have pumped blood until I died. Because I was killed instantly, my heart stopped beating, and therefore it didn't pump blood. No blood gushed out because no heart pumped it. If my heart had continued to pump, I would have lost so much blood that no matter what they did to try to save me, it would have made no difference because there would have been no way to replace that much fluid. Second, I had no vital signs. The EMTs would have known the difference. They were professionals and used a portable EKG and said I had no measurable pulse. Most people know that if the brain is deprived of oxygen for more than 6 minutes, the brain cells die and the person can never be resuscitated. For at least an hour and a half, I showed no vital signs. When I returned to Earth, I had lost little blood, and doctors found no evidence of brain damage. I died. That's the only sensible and logical way to explain what happened to me. Not only do I believe I died, but during my death, I experienced heaven. I had read about heaven in my Bible, heard sermons, and had absorbed a lot of theological teaching about life after this life. But none of those descriptions did justice to the real heaven. How could they? Heaven is greater and more wonderful than human words can express. In my 2 previous books, I gave details of my journey. This book isn't about my journey to heaven, it's about my journey back toward heaven. By that, I mean I've been there once, and now not only do I want to return, but I'm already on the road that will lead me back. What I can share is that I'm different today than I was when I started across the bridge over Lake Livingston. That bridge changed my life. If I had not chosen to go over the bridge, I would not have the physical handicaps and the pain I experience today. But then, I wouldn't have tasted the joys of heaven either. In the years since that accident, I have often thought about bridges. They connect one place with another.